with you. I'm Senator Vincent Ford. And I'm honored to be here tonight in the Atlanta University Center, where I've spent the majority of my adult life teaching young people. I'm glad to be with so many old friends and even more new ones. But let me tell you why I'm here. I'm here because we must make Bernie Sanders the next President of the United States. A few months ago, I announced that I was supporting the other Democrat in the race. And I'm not here, listen, I'm not here to criticize her. Secretary Clinton and President Clinton have been fine public servants for our nation. But this year, we have a unique an historic opportunity to truly change America. We have an opportunity to transform America, and we must seize that opportunity. As I've watched Bernie Sanders, listened to his ideas, and learned about his work in Congress as mayor of Burlington, and yes, as an activist, including his time in the civil rights movement in the 1960s. I have come to the same conclusion that all of you have. Bernie Sanders is the president America must have at this moment. Now, I have three big reasons for endorsing Senator Sanders tonight. The first is his courage to take on the Wall Street billionaires. Those billionaires who have seized control of our nation's politics. As a member, and this is personal for me, because as a member of the Georgia State Senate, I led the fight within Governor Roy Barnes, to pass the strongest law against predatory lending. That deserves some applause. But when the Republicans took over, Wall Street came to town. And one of the first things the Republicans did was repeal that law. We now know that had that law stayed in place, my brothers and sisters, and if we had such a law nationally, we could have stopped a lot of the Wall Street wrongdoing that cost so many hardworking Americans their jobs and their homes. As a presidential candidate, Bernie Sanders has turned down Wall Street's cash and taken on Wall Street billionaires. As president, we know he'll do what needs to be done. President Sanders will break up the big banks so we don't let Wall Street create another crisis, so that they don't create another crisis where the bankers get bailed out and the regular people get thrown out of their jobs and their homes. We also know, and this is very important, that a Sanders Justice Department will be brave enough to hold the bankers accountable when they break the law. My second big reason for supporting Bernie Sanders is because he's the only candidate with a health care plan, Medicare for all, that will guarantee health care for every American. Now, you might have heard that some people are saying that we can't afford his plan, but we know, the people in this room know, we can't afford not to do it. Here in Georgia, next door in South Carolina, and across the South and the nation, Republican governors have refused to expand Medicaid, leaving millions of working class Americans without health care. Only Bernie Sanders' health care plan solves that problem everywhere in America. When we have Medicare for all, the days will be over when right-wing politicians in Georgia and elsewhere can make a political statement by blocking health care for millions of our fellow citizens. My third reason for backing Bernie Sanders is our fight for 15. Right now, even as we speak, I'm fighting to raise Georgia's minimum wage to $15 an hour. And we're doing that because everyone's job should pay them a wage that lets them support themselves and their families with dignity. Bernie Sanders is the only candidate for president who will join us in that fight and push Congress to raise our national wage to $15 an hour so every working American is paid a real living wage. That's why I've joined you here tonight, and why I'm going to work every day through November 8th as hard as I can to make Bernie Sanders the 45th President of the United States. Working together, we will make sure that this is more than just a moment. It will be the start of a movement that will transform America and make sure that the nation we love lives up to its promise for everyone. And now, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce you to our next president, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Thank you, Morehouse.